my friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today are some Blu-ray recommendations and reviews. And since we haven't had a lot of new releases, we're getting re-releases, upgraded, special edition releases. But since we don't have a lot of new releases coming out to Blu-ray, most of these are going to be catalog titles or things that I missed the first time around, and I just got around to picking them up. And as promised, I have the second giveaway item, so I'm going to talk about that at some point during the video. And the last thing I wanted to address before we get going is if you happen to see ads in the middle of my video, they're called mid-roll ads, I did not put them there. As of, I think it was the 27th of August, YouTube changed its policy, and any channel that is monetized, which means you see ads on it, that uploads a video that's longer than 10 minutes, YouTube actually puts ads in the video where they think that the ad should be. So I find mid-roll ads really annoying, and I've never used them in my videos, so until I can figure out a way to either opt out of it, which I don't know if that's possible, or maybe rearrange them and put them towards the end of the video, just bear with me, because I've seen some people on other channels getting really upset saying, you know, I think you have enough ads, there's too many ads, and understandably so, but honestly, a lot of creators don't even know that the ads are there. They're just kind of all over the videos, so just bear with me until I can figure out what's going on, but I did want to let you guys know I didn't put them there. So I'm just going to get right into it because I've blabbered on long enough, as usual. The first one, if you subscribe to Shudder streaming service, it's a horror streaming service. This was a Shudder exclusive. It's called Tigers Are Not Afraid. And the only physical copy that they did was this nice steelbook. It's put up by RLJ Entertainment. They did this really nice steelbook here with that imagery on the front. And then if you've seen the movie, you understand this on the back. And basically, Guillermo del Toro did the blurb for the front cover. It says, an unsparing blend of fantasy and brutality, innocence and evil, which I think kind of is a good summation of this movie. Basically what it is it takes place in Mexico. It is in Spanish with English subtitles. And you have a group of orphans, and these orphans are living on these rooftops. They kind of set up this makeshift little town where they all live together. And the reason these kids are orphaned are because of these cartel people that are running the streets, and they're doing horrible things. They're trafficking drugs, they're doing sex trafficking, they're murdering these kids' parents. I mean, it's really a bad scene there, and it's scary for them. And they all live together, and they're on the run because the people are trying to grab them at any given moment and, you know, take them away for whatever they're going to use them for. And this one young girl who has recently become orphaned because her mother just didn't come home one day and she has no idea what happened to her. She shows up and she wants to join the group, and she kind of has to prove herself and gain their trust to actually live with them. And also, through a means which I'm not going to get into because it would kind of ruin the story, she also has with her the ability to have 3 wishes, and this is where the kind of fantasy comes in. And basically what the gist of it is be careful what you wish for and how you use your wishes, because you just might get what you wish for, and it might not always be what you wanted it to be. So that's kind of the gist of the story. It's a mix of reality and fantasy, kind of think like a Pan's Labyrinth, but not to the scale of a Pan's Labyrinth. It's a very watered down version. It has more reality than fantasy, which I think works for this, because the way they use the fantasy in this, I didn't always like it. It wasn't my favorite part. I really like the reality part of this more than the fantasy. Not to say the fantasy was bad, it just didn't always work in a way that felt like it really fit the story the way I thought it should. But that being said, I thought it was a really good movie overall. I think it's definitely worth a look, and either stream it for free on Shudder. I'm not sure if it's on any other streaming services yet. It might be, I don't know. But seeing as it's a Shudder exclusive, it may not be. Or check out the prices. If it gets a price drop, or maybe it'll just get like a plain Amaray case release, I don't know. Definitely look for it, because it's definitely one that, if you like that kind of fantasy reality story, you'll like it. And it's good. The actors, they were all amateur actors. None of them were trained professionals, and the kids really did a great job. So definitely give it a look. And if you've seen it, let me know in the comments. This next one, if you like music and you like documentaries, you're going to love this one. It's called Searching for Sugar Man. And basically what this one is about is, it's about this guy here. His name is Rodriguez. That's what he goes by. he was a folk singer in downtown Detroit in the 1970s, and he was so shy. When he used to play in bars, he would face his back to the audience, and he would just kind of sit in the corner and sing. And these record execs heard about him, and they went out to see him, loved him, and they asked him if he wanted to, go and make some albums. He made 2 albums that totally flopped in the United States, and the record label let him go, and this and that, and on he went on his way. Whatever happened to him happened. Nobody really kept track of him. They didn't know if he was alive or dead, and off he went. Fast forward a little bit, in Cape Town in South Africa, in the middle of apartheid, somebody got a hold of, I think, a bootleg copy of his record, and he became a huge hit. They said he was bigger than Elvis down in South Africa. And so people started to try and figure out, where is Rodriguez? Who is he? What happened to him? There were rumors that maybe he was dead, rumors that he had committed suicide. Nobody could prove anything definitively about this guy. So we have a journalist and another guy who, they're both fans, and they set out to find out the story of Rodriguez and where is he, if he's even alive. And, this is the story of them trying to track down this Rodriguez and his full story and bring it to light. So this is a really great documentary, and the music is fantastic. I actually ended up buying the soundtrack on vinyl because the music is that good. If you like old Bob Dylan type music, you're gonna love this, because I think he's better than Bob Dylan. But yeah, Searching for Sugar Man, I mean, not that it means anything, but it got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes from the audience, and I think it's well worth it. I think it definitely earned that, and then some. So Searching for Sugar Man, highest recommendation on that one. And this is one, I don't know when it was from, a few years back. I didn't really hear anything about it. I kind of heard, I think what I heard was kind of mixed. It was kind of like, it's silly, it's weird. Well, I'll tell you, I loved this movie. It's called Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. It stars Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. And basically what it is the people of Earth are told that the Earth is going to be hit by, I think it's either a piece of a space shuttle or a meteor. Something is going to hit Earth and destroy Earth in like 21 days or something. So everybody is going nuts. They're doing all kinds of crazy things. They're having promiscuous sex. They're doing drugs. All these kind of things that they would never do if they didn't think they were going to die in 21 days. And Steve Carell and Keira Knightley are neighbors who never really talk to each other, but through circumstances are kind of stuck with each other, and they try to help each other get to where they want to be for the end of the Earth. And that is the basic summary of this. And I found the chemistry between Steve Carell and Keira Knightley just to be so on point. It was such a great story. It had funny parts, it had heartwarming parts, it had sad parts. It had really interesting storytelling. I thought it was really well done. And this one really surprised me because I hadn't heard anything really fantastic about it. I really took a chance on this one, and I was not disappointed at all. This is so good. I think it's really underrated, and I think that more people need to give this a look. And as a side note, considering the world we're living in today, with the civil unrest, the pandemic, all the crazy stuff that's going on, when you watch some of the news footage on this, it's chilling. It really is. It hit kind of close to home for what's going on right now. But I would say definitely, if you can get your hands on this, and I think I got this on, I want to say Hamilton Book, and I think I got it for $3.95. Well worth it and then some. So definitely check out Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. And this next one, this is a little older one too. It's part of the Sony Picture Classics. It's called The Wackness, and we have Ben Kingsley in this one. And I forget. I think Josh Peck is his name, the lead guy. He's a young guy. He is this guy right here, if you can see him. He is a pot dealer, and he's living in an apartment with his mother and father, and I guess there's some financial issues where they may be finding themselves put out on the street. And he starts to try to sell enough pot to basically take care of his family. I think he's like 17 years old, and one of his clients is played by Ben Kingsley, who is a psychiatrist, but he's not seeing him as a psychiatrist, he's seeing him as his pot dealer. And through his encounters with Ben Kingsley's character, he ends up meeting the psychiatrist's daughter, and he kind of has a crush on her. And this basically is a story of all their friendships, his relationship with the father, his relationship with the daughter, and how it all kind of intertwines. And I thought this was really, really good as well. I was very surprised by it. I thought it had a really cool soundtrack. It had a really cool vibe. It's supposed to be the summer of 1994. Definitely had that 90s vibe going for it. And if you haven't seen the Wackness, I would say give it a look. I'm sure you can stream it somewhere. That's the cast, if you can check them out. But I thought this had a really cool vibe, really good story, and again, the soundtrack was a lot of fun, so the Wackness. And totally changing gears, we're going to something that's totally serious. This is a South Korean film called Poetry. It's done by Lee Chang-dong, who also has a movie in the Criterion series called Secret Sunshine, which I have not seen yet, but I hear really good things about it. And the basic story of this one, again, it's a South Korean film, so it is in South Korean with English subtitles, but this is a beautiful film. We have an older woman who is right here. You can see her on the cover there. And she is a caretaker for an elderly gentleman who it appears, seems like he's had a stroke or something. He has limited mobility. Anyway, she finds out that she has early stage Alzheimer's, and she doesn't tell anyone. She is also the guardian for her grandson, who seems to be about 15 or 16 years old, and he is a horrible, horrible pain in the neck. He's mean, he's bossy, he doesn't help her, he doesn't care about her, he uses her and treats her like crap, he doesn't help around the house, you name it, he's just a horrible kid. And she puts up with him, and she just, yes, does everything for him. She decides to find something to make her happy and to keep her mind going, and she signs up for a poetry class. She wants to learn how to write poetry, and she starts to become more aware of the world around her because that's what the poetry class teaches her. And this story is about her journey, and it is a beautiful, moving journey. And what a story. And I can't say any more about it because I'm going to ruin it. But the ending of this was perfection. This is so good. If you don't mind the subtitles, definitely check out Poetry. It's so good. It is so heartfelt, and it's perfect. I love it. So yeah, and it's a Kino Lorber release. So if you want to wait and get it on a Kino sale, you can go ahead and do that. And I am going to cut away and be back with a little surprise for you guys. Okay, my friends, I'm back, and guess what? I have the giveaway item. This is the second giveaway. I promised you guys the first one was the Criterion edition of Come and See, and I promised you guys that I would have a more mainstream giveaway for people who maybe aren't into the Criterion collection. And what I decided to go with is something that is probably a universally popular film and a really nice steelbook edition. It's the 25th anniversary 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and digital copy of Mel Gibson and Braveheart. And it is a beautiful steelbook. I did not get one for my collection. I got the Gladiator one, but this is on my short list of ones to pick up. But I decided to get one for you guys. So it actually comes with the 4K disc, the Blu-ray disc, and then there's an entire disc of special features. So from what I hear, it's a really great release. And all you have to do to be entered is you have to be subbed to the channel and let me know in the comments that you would like to be entered for the giveaway item. That's it. It's free to enter. It's just my way of saying thank you for everyone who continues to support me and the channel. And again, this is limited to the United States just because international shipping with the pandemic and everything that's going on is a nightmare. And again, I can't even promise that it would get there. So my next giveaway, which is coming up, is going to be something for my international friends. And please, I apologize. You guys know how I feel about not being able to be all-inclusive. So what I'm going to do is, after I talk about a few more movies, we're going to talk about what the date is for the giveaway. I'll tell you when I'm going to post the drawing, and that'll be that. So that is the giveaway item. I hope you guys are happy with it. And on with the reviews. This next one this is such a fun film. I had it on DVD for the longest time. I upgraded to Blu-ray. It is called Black Snake Moan, and it stars Samuel Jackson, Christina Ricci, and there's an appearance from Justin Timberlake. And if you have not seen this one, this is such a good movie. Again, not one I hear a lot of people talk about, probably because it's a little older, but still, I think it's good to revisit these catalog titles. Basically, Samuel Jackson is a guy living down south. Christina Ricci is a very out-of-control, promiscuous young lady who he finds beaten to a pulp in his driveway one morning, and he decides that he is going to teach her how to be a proper young woman and not get herself into these situations where she gets intoxicated or does drugs and these men take advantage of her. And he does this by taking her in, nursing her, and he decides to chain her to his house so she can't get away until she has learned how to be a proper young woman. And this is about the really interesting friendship that they formed. This is such a good movie, and like I said, if you haven't seen Black Snake Moan, give it a chance because it's really good. Samuel Jackson gives a great performance. Christina Ricci is perfect in the role, and Justin Timberlake didn't really do much for me, but you know, he's in there, he's a name to put on the cover. But yeah, it's really about Christina Ricci, Samuel Jackson, and really their on-screen chemistry is perfect. They're so good together, and I really enjoyed this one. So Black Snake Moan, one I would definitely recommend. And this next one, I would put this in the category of popcorn movie, but so much fun. And this one really surprised me. I actually got a review solicit for a digital copy when they weren't sending out physical copies, and I've kind of read about it. I'm like, not interested, and I passed. And then I kept hearing people talking about how much they loved it, and I picked it up on physical. I really enjoyed it too. It stars Daniel Radcliffe. It's called Guns Akimbo. And basically what this is Daniel Radcliffe plays, he is a video game creator, but he is also a horrible internet troll. He trolls everyone. And what he does is he trolls the wrong people, and they figure out his ISP and his address, and they show up at his door. And the game that he was trolling them on is a game where people fight to the death. You have two people and they fight to the death, and the audience watches. And basically, as payback, they enlist him to be one of the fighters in their game. And this basically just follows him trying to play the game and survive. Really good, fun popcorn film. Not a lot of big character development. It's nothing crazy, nothing special. Not going to win any awards, but it's just a lot of fun. Like I said, really good popcorn movie, good action movie, and Daniel Radcliffe does a really good job. He really surprised me. He did a really good job in an action. It's a bloody mess of an action movie, but really good. I would definitely check out Guns Akimbo if you just kind of want to turn your brain off and just have some fun, but it's a good one. And this next one, this is a tough watch. The first act of this is a tough watch. This is, I believe it's an Australian film. Yeah, it's an Australian film. It's put up by Shout Factory, and it is called The Nightingale. And I think it takes place in Australia in 1825. And the gal here is actually owned. She did something, and she's owned by this wealthy landowner. And just the first act, I can't even get into it. It will turn your stomach and shock you at the same time. But if you can get past it to the story, it's a really good story. The runtime is a little bit long. Let me see what it was, if it even says it on here. I don't know if I... Yeah, 136 minutes. It's a long one. I would say they probably could have cut out about a half an hour, because there's the second act of the movie where she is going on this road trip with an escort, and they're walking through the woods, and they're just walking, and things might happen, things maybe happen, some things don't happen, but they could have cut out about a half hour of that, and it would have made for a much tighter story and a much tighter script, in my opinion. But overall, other than the runtime, I thought this was a really good movie, and basically she is trying to seek revenge against the people who hurt her and her family. That's it in a nutshell without ruining anything. But if you can put up with, I would say, the violent first half hour, this is really a good film, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. So The Nightingale, not for the squeamish, but if you can hold up, if you can put up with it, it's a good one. And this next one I had in my watch pile for so long, and someone special who watches this channel suggested that I watch it. He told me I was crazy enough to watch it, and he was right. I enjoyed it. It is a Lars von Trier film called The House That Jack Built. It stars Matt Dillon, and Matt Dillon plays a serial killer. And what this is 5 different stories about people that he interacted with and subsequently killed. And they go through and tell the story. If you're familiar with Lars von Trier, you kind of know what you're going to get. There's going to be some self-indulgence. There's going to be some really wacky artistic things that go on, but nothing can take away from Matt Dillon's performance. He is fantastic in this role. It's probably my favorite performance I've seen him in, maybe ever. He was great. He was perfect for the role. The one thing that I think was a little, well, probably the most out there part is the last, I would say, 15 minutes. It's really a little out there, and you kind of have to search through maybe some archival things that you might have heard, stories you might have heard in the past, if that makes any sense. I don't want to ruin it. Yeah, it's a really weird ending, and I maybe could have done without it. I know there's a lot of symbolism in it, but when you have to take to the internet to read what did it mean, which a lot of people do, that kind of takes away from the experience. But other than that, I thought this is well worth it and well worth the look. So The House That Jack Built, I think it's a good one. I know a lot of people, it's a love it, hate it type of thing. If you can find it to stream either for cheap or rent it for cheap, I would do that before I invest in buying it, because I don't know if I would watch it again. Maybe. I don't know if it's going to make my shelf or not. It might be going up for sale. I don't know. Time will tell. But The House That Jack Built, decent. And then this last one, it just came out. It is a classic. It stars Kirk Douglas. I just wanted to talk about it real quick because I just watched it, and I just wanted to give you my opinion on the release. It's a new 4K Ultra HD copy of Spartacus. And I hadn't seen this in forever, and I can tell you that the transfer on this is so good. You would think this was filmed yesterday. It is such a great transfer. If you're a fan of Spartacus, even if you're not a fan of Spartacus, pick it up. It is well worth it. The transfer is so good. It's so clear, so crisp, just so good. And the story is really good, and they actually have, it's a very long run time as well on this one, but they have a built-in intermission, so you can kind of chill and take off and, you know, take your bathroom break, get your snacks, do your thing, because it's about a 5 to 7 minute intermission, so you can do it that way. But Spartacus, always a good one. It's a classic, definitely worth adding to your collection if you're into the classics, and it's a good one. So that is Spartacus. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my calendar on my phone, and we're going to pick a day for the giveaway. Let's see. How about we go with Monday, August 10th? That would give us about a week. Monday, August 10th, I will post a video where I will put the names in the hat, and probably Kelly will pick the winner, and that one person will win the Steelbook copy of Braveheart, Mel Gibson Braveheart. So that's it. Those are my reviews and recommendations for today. I hope you found a few titles, or maybe more, that you want to add to your collection or rent or whatever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me some comments, suggestions, recommendations. Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. And I'm going to come back to you real soon because I have some more pickups and hauls. I got a Hamilton book order. I have a bunch of things to show you, so that's in the works for this week. But again, thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I'm going to catch you on the next one. So for today, that's a wrap.